So last year I did a challenge to myself where I wanted to try to draw from January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016. I achieved that and it resulted in me doing a lot of drawing over the course of the year. This is when I started drawing from life. I started going to coffee shops in the morning, sometimes at night, and doing drawings of people. So in the beginning, a lot of them were not very good. I was not good at capturing people's likenesses. I was not good at getting the poses down. I remember I tried drawing on a train, and it's terrible. It's literally the worst. I tried using markers for part of it, but even though this is a moleskin sketchbook, and the paper is kind of thick, it still doesn't take marker that well. It kind of bleeds through. So I think I started doing sketches in person at around day 170 or so. So let's kind of flip through each of these books. Drew Mob from Mob Psycho 100. This is the girl from Stranger Things. This is a guy from Stranger Things. So not all of these are in person. This is my PlayStation and Alienware. Alpha. So you can kind of see over the course of the daily sketching how I get better. I do a lot of hands later, and I think my hands improve quite a bit. When I'm doing these sketches too, a lot of times the person, I'll start drawing them and then they'll like walk away. So I will have to either do it from memory. This was from a photo, I remember. They'll walk away and I'll have to either do what I remember or just erase the photo and start over. Erase the drawing and start over. It's Dodger. People at work. It's Dan. Soma from Food Wars. There's a coffee shop. Sometimes if there's not people, I'll try to do landscape and buildings and stuff. I don't do that very often though, because I'm more interested in getting better at drawing people. A lot of this stuff I'm not super proud of. Like, even the point was to draw every day regardless of quality. Even if I know that what I'm doing that day isn't coming out very well, the practice of doing it helps you learn. It's like I hate the way her face came out. Looking back at a lot of these, I'm like, ugh. This one I did, this side especially, I did during an all hands at work, and I had a 2mm lead holder, and I remember it was super, super dull, but I kind of like how that page came out. Like this one, I remember the lady I was drawing kind of looked over at me and then walked out, so this one was mostly from memory. That's why it looks kind of more stylized. This guy I've drawn several times. He went to a coffee shop that I used to go to a lot. I don't really go there much anymore. To keep it fresh, I've been kind of switching up the coffee shops that I go to from time to time. I think this is one of the only ink drawings that I did. I did pencil and then I sketched over it with an ink pen. This was from a photo, by the way. That's why it's so much more detailed. A lot of times I can't get intense detail or anything when I'm drawing from life because I don't know how long someone's going to be there, so I don't generally go too detailed. This was also from a photo. I I'm using my GoPro right now. Normally to shoot in 4K I have to keep it in wide. This I'm shooting in 2.7K, but I have it set to linear, so the art should be a little bit less distorted than in my daily drawing session videos. But this one day I went to a park in San Francisco and there was a bunch of seagulls there, so I drew seagulls that morning. I drew her because her jacket was cool. A friend of mine at work, Israel, actually knew that lady apparently and told her that I had drawn her. I've drawn this guy several times. I forgot about this page. I kind of like that page. This is again another stylized person, so they probably left immediately. This was from a photo. I remember I took that photo at Target. And then I did the roundabout to be continued from JoJo at the end of this book. So that's book 1. This was day, I think, 170 to 270, so it's about 100 days. That makes sense because it's 100 pages. This is book 2, 2016 to today. The pages are thinner, and I remember one day I was in this book and I forgot it, or no, what did I do? I left it at work or something, so I used this book. So this is an earlier page, but it's still in my second book. These pages are much, much thinner than the previous one. This guy goes to a Starbucks near me all the time, so I've drawn him a couple of times too. I went to a Dr. Sketchy's in San Francisco for this. The lady was dressed up as Elvira. Tried to write how long the session was, because usually when you have life models they have 5-minute poses, they have 10-minute poses, which these are. And then most of the time I have 20-minute poses. I think this one I didn't like how my 20-minute came out, so I just did a bunch of other fast ones. Some of these are from photos. I remember that this guy right here was a cosplayer of Witcher 3. This is that same guy that I said was in the coffee shop a lot. I think this one's an Omo-Cat model. This one, her head is gigantic. Every time I see this page, I'm like, why? Kind of a chibi van, I guess. That's from a photo. This is a guy at work also. This was from a photo too, but I took the photo the day before or something. He was he was standing in front of a window, so he's mostly in silhouette, which is kind of cool. This is a study page. This is from Kim Jung-ji, who's a really good artist. He draws a lot of not safe for work things, and I just threw a Pachimari in there. Don't know why. It's kind of a really rough interior. I remember this is from a photo I took on the train. I like how the rendering on her came out. It's pretty minimal, but it looks like her. Sometimes I make notes about what I did wrong. Like this one says too tall. Her head's too big vertically. I remember this guy. It's weird how much I remember about drawing a lot of these people. Like, this guy got up shortly after I started, so I kind of remembered how he looked and just did it from my head. A lot of these aren't super interesting. I think this was when I started going to the coffee shop that I go to now, which has a lot of space between where I draw and the people stand, so I get to do a lot more full body shots. Which I enjoy. I like doing full body shots because you get to see how the entire skeleton interacts, like stuff like this. So a lot of more drawings of people standing around. It's also fun doing full body shots of people in coffee shops because you can kind of see what fashions are popular and stuff. A lot of people have backpacks and wear different types of shoes. So this is still before I started doing an insert page. I keep a page in here now so you don't get this like dirtiness transferred over. So if you take this page that has graphite on it and you flip it over onto a new page and you draw on that side, it kind of transfers some of that graphite to the previous page. So I noticed that was happening eventually, and I started putting a page in between the two. This was when I was in Texas for Thanksgiving. This was in Presidential Museum in Texas. I've seen this guy a lot too. He goes to the coffee shop near me, one of them. This is from a photo. It was actually from a video I took. One of my, for reference videos. I think it's on my YouTube. But I kind of did a really light version of the background and then drew people at different places in the video and tried to work them in to like how far away they were. It's kind of fun, interesting to do. I actually really like this one for whatever reason. I've also noticed when I started doing these full body ones, I really like it when people cross their legs like this, so they stand with their feet opposite where they should be. So whenever I see someone doing that, I usually try to draw them. I think it looks fun. This is from a video sold on Proco.com. I don't remember what it was called. It's like a closer up video that you can see like people moving around. That one was like a lady looking all which way so you can see how the neck muscles work. Every once in a while I'll do like pages like this where I do a lot of really fast ones. It's kind of fun sometimes. I fall into this rhythm where a lot of times I'll do like 3 or 4 people on the top row, 3 or 4 people on the bottom row. So sometimes I'm trying to break myself out of that. So here you can see this is like a very regular page for me. So 1, 2, 3, and then I kind of draw a couple and then fill in additional ones. This is again from a photo. Took on the train. I was gonna originally do like all the way detailed all the way back, but I got lazy. I generally like to, for sketchbooks, separate them into days, so I know like I'll finish top to bottom one page and I can label it. I started labeling the pages which day it was too, because I kept on having to use this website Epic Converter to figure out how many days into the year I was, and then going into the second year I didn't want it to be super complicated to have to add that to 366, so it was a leap year. This is from a photo. I remember this is at a Starbucks near me, and I like the light that was coming in, so I wanted to do like a lighting study, which is cool. I think this is also from a photo. I think she was in a store during Christmas. Drawn this guy before. So this page I really fucked up the perspective on this, and I drew what it was supposed to look like underneath or to the side. But I got too detailed too fast, and I wasn't looking at the total thing. This is from a YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrian. Yoga videos are actually really good to use. I started using those every once in a while. There's like another one from Yoga with Adrian. Again, another stylized guy, so he probably left as soon as I started drawing him. Crossed legs, crossed legs. And this is getting pretty close to the end, but I started drawing hands a lot more. On my left hand, because I'm drawing with my right. I had like a boosted board, I remember. I thought this lady also had crossed legs, but I liked how her one foot was kind of like sideways. So I made sure to I think I was in the middle of another drawing and I stopped to draw her. I'll do that sometimes too. But these are not from photos. I think in the beginning, this is about the detail level I was doing from photos. But this was like an actual person. Sometimes I think this one was mostly like I was inspired by a real person, but then I like drew it stylized. More hands. Sometimes I also look for people with different body types. So this guy is like a really heavy-set dude. So I like to draw people like that whenever I can. Again, this is, I think she left right away, and then I just kind of glanced at that guy and then kind of made a caricature of him. And this is a couple days ago. Starting to do, this is from bodiesinmotion.photo, trying to practice core shadowing. And then, I don't know why, but I did these faster like warm-up sketches after the longer one, which is kind of dumb. This probably would have come out better if I did all these first and then drew it. And this is from today. So I did a 2-page spread of a guy doing capoeira. And on my Twitter I made this into like an animated GIF so you can see how these all fit together. I was trying to make them all the same size, and I didn't have to do any resizing, so I'm pretty proud of myself for not having to do that. It's really easy drawing to drawing to change the scale, like even a little amount, but it worked out pretty well without having to do that. And that's it. So I'll probably do another one of these in a couple hundred more days. But thanks for taking a look at my sketchbooks, and keep drawing.